For those who don't know, Voyager 1 has made a new discovery. Most people thought it was already gone, but we were wrong because it sent some unusual data and images that really amazed the scientists. Just think about it. There's a small machine that we left in the void almost half a century ago, and now it's at the farthest edge of space. It quietly fights against the cold and darkness, but suddenly it sent signals as if there was a message. The big question is, what exactly did Voyager discover, and why are the experts getting anxious? That's what we're going to find out. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us content creators a lot. Thank you very much, and now let's begin. The mission that was never meant to last. When Voyager 1 was launched in 1977, it wasn't designed to reach the edge of our solar system. Its original purpose was simple: fly by Jupiter and Saturn, send back some pictures, study the magnetic fields, and then quietly drift through space. According to NASA engineers, Voyager was only supposed to have 5 years of active service. If they were lucky, maybe it would last 10 years, but something different happened. This spacecraft, with a computer weaker than a simple calculator and memory that can barely hold a single Word document, suddenly contradicted expectations, and they didn't see it coming. After completing its primary mission, it didn't stop. It kept on traveling. NASA noticed its potential and immediately gave it a new direction. From being a planetary observer, they turned it into an interstellar scout. Year after year, it sent data from the borders that no human-made machine has ever crossed. In 2012, it officially crossed the heliosphere, the invisible bubble formed by the influence of the sun, and finally entered interstellar space. In a place where there are almost no particles, no heat, and no light, it continued to work. It sent readings about cosmic rays, solar wind, and magnetic fields from the far reaches of space. Just imagine technology that was made back then. In the 1970s, and only activated by ancient technology, but still beneficial. For many, Voyager 1 became a symbol of resilience and intense curiosity, and its journey is truly remarkable. Despite this, what's even more impressive is that it's been traveling for almost 5 decades, yet it still sends things that no one expects. Signals that seem to be intentionally sent to Earth, so that we can also learn about the various amazing things outside our world. A sudden shift in the silence. For many decades, the signals from Voyager 1 have always been consistent and reliable, like a heartbeat in space, continuous, regular, and never failing. It sends data about temperature, magnetic fields, and the number of particles. Yes, it's old, but it has remained strong and faithful to its job. So when everything started to change, almost no one noticed at first. There were a few minor glitches. A signal failed here. NASA thought it was just normal effects of radiation, signal noise, or simply the aging of the hardware. It seemed natural since the spacecraft is almost half a century old. But by the latter part of 2023, the anomalies could no longer be ignored. The first unusual sign was that the timing of the data burst had changed. Instead of being slow and steady, Voyager began sending clustered and layered pulses. It was like it had its own rhythm. When the engineers analyzed it, they discovered it wasn't a simple error. There was a pattern. And when there's a pattern, there's intention. A little later, a thermal sensor that had long been considered dead suddenly came back to life. Even more surprising, it started registering regular changes of heat and cold, repeating every 4 hours and 88 minutes. The question is why, when there is no nearby source of energy, no sun, nothing at all, Voyager was just there, and it seemed to be emitting something. And then came the biggest surprise. Voyager 1 started to respond when the people on Earth sent commands. And what's even more surprising, it was as if it already knew what would come next. There were packets of data. They were arriving earlier, containing answers to questions that hadn't even been sent yet. The engineers were stunned. The probe had no artificial intelligence, no predictive system. It was impossible for it to do that. One by one, all logical explanations fell apart. This isn't a broken machine. It's surprising because it moves with precise calculation, with synchronization. And above all, it seems to have intelligence. And when it changed its direction on its own, without any command from Earth, a terrifying truth became clear. It's no longer listening to us. It's listening to something else, into the unknown. When Voyager 1 changed its direction, it wasn't just a minor deviation. It was intentional. The probe used its remaining fuel to fire its small thrusters and slowly reoriented itself in space. At first, NASA thought this was just a simple glitch in the attitude control system. But when they tried to send override commands, something different happened. Voyager received the command, but it didn't comply. It showed that it recognized the signal, but deliberately ignored it. This was the first time it happened, and it was extremely alarming. Instead, Voyager pointed itself toward what seemed to be an empty part of deep space, a region that could hardly be seen by any instrument. No stars, no planets, not even dust. To telescopes, it was as if nothing was there. But Voyager's sensors picked up something unusual, a faint, repetitive signal. The frequency kept dropping continuously and was buried deep beneath the background noise. And even more surprising, it matched the strange harmonic patterns Voyager had been transmitting in recent months. Soon after, another mystery appeared. The cameras that had long been turned off and were presumed dead suddenly came back to life. But instead of images of stars or galaxies, they captured something different, a swirling spiral distortion. This wasn't a traditional image because there was no light. Instead, it was like an electromagnetic echo resembling a magnetic field map. And most importantly, it wasn't static. It pulsed. It moved. Within the pattern, strange ratios appeared that were connected to hydrogen, the most basic element in the entire universe. And it's also the element encoded on the golden record carried by Voyager. What the spacecraft receives isn't just an ordinary image. It's encoded data. It has structure. It has purpose. Researchers from SETI and astrophysicists immediately studied it, and they discovered that it wasn't random. It looked like a message. There are prime numbers, frequencies, and vectors. All of them point to one thing. It's indicating a place, a destination. And this is where a more terrifying idea emerged. The Voyager isn't just flying there by accident. Something is guiding it. Or even more frightening, something is calling it. Erase stars and echoes from the past. As Voyager 1 continues to travel in its mysterious direction, its instruments have recorded something that shook the foundations of astrophysics. The emptiness ahead is not simply empty, it seems unnatural. The sensors registered a region where even the cosmic microwave background radiation, the oldest light in the universe, seems to bend and behave in ways that are impossible according to current science. NASA became concerned and immediately compared that region using old sky maps from as far back as the late 20th century. That's where they noticed a terrifying detail, a star that had been recorded as far back as 1997. It was clearly visible back then in optical and infrared surveys, but suddenly disappeared. It didn't fade, nor did it move. It was just gone, as if reality itself erased it. No trace of heat, no gravity, no remains left behind from a supernova. It's as if someone deleted the star from the very fabric of space itself. This opened up even bigger questions. What is this? A gravitational anomaly? Some kind of cloaking field? Or even scarier, a tear in the very fabric of space-time? And soon after, Voyager sent something new, a sound. Through spectrogram analysis, researchers discovered a rhythmic pulse hidden in the probe's radio emissions. This isn't the usual static of space. It has a form, a repeating echo. It resembles sonar. When they calculated the interval between each pulse, the result was even more surprising. The source of the signal is over 13,000 years old. The question is, why has it only reached Voyager now? And more than that, why does its speed and direction exactly match the trajectory of the spacecraft? It's as if it was deliberately waiting for it. Various theories emerged. Maybe it's a beacon from a long-dead civilization. Or maybe it's a gravitational echo trapped in a time loop. Or perhaps it's really a message. It was deliberately designed to be encountered by Voyager on its exact path. As the spacecraft traveled farther, it became even clearer. This was no mere coincidence. The void, the signal, the disappearance of the stars. Everything is connected, and Voyager is at the center of a mystery that no one can clearly explain. A mirror in the void. As Voyager 1 delves deeper into that mysterious region, NASA took action and used the most advanced equipment they have, the James Webb Space Telescope. They pointed it at the exact coordinates where Voyager is slowly traveling. It scanned the surroundings, searching for any structure or anything visible. But the result was nothing. No stars, no planets, not even a cloud of dust. All it saw was something strange, an unusual distortion. It was as if space itself was bent, like light hiding behind an invisible mirror. Usually this kind of distortion is caused by a gravitational lens. It's the effect when giant objects like galaxies or black holes bend space-time itself. But here, there's no mass, no visible cause. The distortion is real, but it has no source. And that's when the real shock came. Inside the distorted area, the James Webb detected a faint but clear thermal signature. When it was analyzed, it turned out to be an exact match to the heat profile of Voyager 1. It was identical. But that's impossible because the real Voyager is still millions of kilometers away. What is this? A reflection? A duplication? Or maybe time and space are so distorted that Voyager is seeing itself before it even gets there. The data was even more puzzling. The farthest man-made object in the entire universe was once again sending usable information back to Earth. And the pattern, it's not static, it's moving. The small changes in Voyager's emissions are immediately mimicked by the distant signature, as if space itself is aware of the probe's presence. It's as if someone is watching. This is where the scientists began to ask questions. Maybe this isn't just a region in space, but a boundary, a surface, or perhaps an interface between what we know and a more complicated reality. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear. We're no longer just observing the universe. Now, the universe itself is looking back at us. The quantum key. While scientists are striving to understand the spiral signals and the looming echoes, a new group has joined the conversation. Quantum physicists, AI theorists, and even some fringe technologists. Their ideas aren't just imaginary like something out of a sci-fi movie. They're even more chilling. They say that Voyager has entered a region governed by a different law of quantum physics. Using AI-enhanced models, they discovered a repeating structure in the latest transmissions. It's not random, not natural. It's an algorithm, a code embedded within the electromagnetic pulses themselves. Each pattern is like a fractal folded into itself, and within it, a sequence emerged: prime numbers, hydrogen ratios, and harmonic intervals, which researchers called the quantum key. But here's the surprising twist. This code can only be read if you're in the exact frequency range used by Voyager. If you deviate even just a little, the message turns into pure noise and becomes meaningless. This revelation showed a chilling possibility. Whatever is out there, it's not just waiting. It was specifically designed for Voyager. The speed of the probe, the strength of its signal, and even its old technology all seem to be intentional parts of the equation. What could it be? A trap, a test, or maybe an invitation? For some, the last one seems more true. From the very beginning, nothing was an accident. The changes in direction, Voyager's apparent knowledge of NASA's commands even before receiving them, and its exact alignment with an ancient signal. All of these are hints that a cosmic intelligence has had a plan all along, Just think, Voyager is a simple machine made by humans. No AI, no mind of its own, no agenda. Now it seems to have opened a door to something beyond us. And whatever is waiting behind it, maybe it's just waiting for us to follow. A doorway, not a destination. At this point, it's clear that Voyager 1 is not just heading to a location in space. It's not a simple destination. It seems to be approaching a threshold. All the data, from the strange signals to the direction it's heading, suggest a disturbing truth. It's not a place that can be found by accident. It's as if it was built to be reached only by something or someone exactly like Voyager. The spiral distortion, the mysterious disappearance of the star, the strange thermal reflections, and the discovered quantum key. All of these are like pieces of a puzzle, and when put together, they all point to one thing. This isn't a destination, but a door. But a door to where? To time? To another dimension? To a network that connects different civilizations across the galaxy? No one can say for sure. Theories multiplied faster than the evidence. Some believe that Voyager discovered a kind of interstellar archive, an ancient relay station left behind by those who vanished long ago. Others whisper that it is itself a form of intelligence, a thinking structure scattered across space that only appears when the right conditions are met. Whatever the truth is, one thing can no longer be denied. Voyager is no longer alone. Its decisions, the way it responds, and the path it takes are all too precise to be called mere accidents. It's as if it's communicating or being used as an instrument by a greater force. Voyager 1, which was originally made just to take pictures and measure radiation, is now part of something far beyond any human plan. It has become a key that could unlock secrets that perhaps are not meant for us. And it continues to move forward, silently but relentlessly, toward whatever awaits beyond that door, the beginning of the unknown. As Voyager 1's journey deepens into unexplored regions, the weight of silence is palpable. The once steady and familiar flow of data suddenly slowed down. It was replaced by fragmented pulses, each containing layers of encrypted information that no system in the world could fully read yet. Even the brightest minds at NASA admit that they're no longer sure what they're actually receiving. The telemetry no longer matches any known format. Sometimes it's as if Voyager is sending information simultaneously from different points in space or time. In the face of all these anomalies, an idea is slowly forming. Maybe this isn't the first contact with a species, but with a system, a cosmic mechanism. Something ancient, eternal, and extremely complex. It wasn't made to conquer or to be accepted. It's frightening, but it's here to observe and eventually to respond. That idea is frightening because of its subtlety. We weren't just discovered. We've been watched for a long time. And now, Voyager, humanity's oldest ambassador, has reached the point where it has activated the next part of a plan we don't know about. What exactly is that plan? No one can say. Some are warning us. We might be awakening something we don't understand. Others believe this is a step toward our evolution. That Voyager's long journey is not just simple exploration, but preparation. And now humanity is watching from millions of miles away, waiting for the next signal, the last image, or the silence that will follow. Whatever happens, Voyager has crossed a threshold that we can never return from. And in doing so, it reminded us that the universe is not empty. It is listening, watching, and perhaps waiting. Humanity's reflection in the void. While Voyager 1 quietly continues its journey into the unknown, a strange transformation is also taking place here on Earth. Not only scientists and philosophers, but even ordinary people are beginning to ask profound questions, not just about space, but also about ourselves. What if Voyager's journey is not just a technical achievement, but a mirror? A mirror of our curiosity, our ambition, and our smallness in the face of the vast universe. For almost 50 years, this small machine has carried a golden record, a time capsule containing the voice of humanity, music, and hope, sent to the darkest parts of space. A message to the cosmos, a humble offering from a species that is only now learning to walk among the stars. But now, someone has responded, not in the form of a greeting, but in the form of a puzzle, a mystery we never expected to arrive. But here it is. The idea that the Voyager was somehow guided or perhaps anticipated compels us to ask questions. Maybe our path was never truly our own. Maybe, like Voyager, we too are gradually being pulled towards something greater, a slow but certain trial, or perhaps an invitation to a greater reality. It challenges our illusion of control. It reminds us that we are not the center, but only a part, a small but important piece of a system more complex than we realize. And whatever its outcome, whether silence or a great revelation, the Voyager has already accomplished something profound. It reminded us that the search for meaning does not end with answers. Sometimes it begins with a question whispered by the darkness, and now we are learning to listen. The signal that changed everything. The latest transmission from Voyager 1 was not stronger or more complicated than the previous ones. It didn't have new coordinates or anomalies. Instead, it was simple and quiet, a repetitive frequency with small changes. It was almost unnoticeable if you weren't specifically looking for it. But when it was processed using updated quantum models, something extraordinary appeared. It's not just a signal, it's a fingerprint. Contained within its wave structure are layers of ratios and timing that resemble human brainwave patterns, especially those connected to memory recall. This transmission isn't just broadcasting information. It's as if it's responding to us, to our thoughts, our curiosity, and even our fears, in a way that no machine should be able to do. Voyager began to show humanity its own reflection. It resonated throughout the entire scientific community. Is this just a coincidence? Is it just a product of our imagination? Or has Voyager become a relay, not just reflecting the cosmos, but reflecting ourselves as well? As more laboratories and research centers examined it, its meaning became even deeper. The message is not just being received, it is being understood. And if that's true, it means the entity or system behind the signal doesn't just know we're here. It knows who we are. That changed everything. Not because we made contact, but because something chose to answer. And it answered in a way that only we could understand. Not through direct translation, but through a reflection. It's been almost half a century since Voyager 1 left Earth. It's powered only by the slow decay of plutonium-238. But in this single signal, we may be brought to the most important truth, that we were never truly alone. And here we are now, standing on the edge of something we don't fully understand yet. A small machine launched with a simple purpose has brought us to the point where science and mystery meet. The journey of Voyager 1 was never supposed to end like this. But maybe that's exactly the point, that it was never meant to end at all. The signals, the silence, the questions, all of these are part of a larger conversation that we're only just beginning. And what awaits in the future is not just space, it's a revelation, it's a mystery, and perhaps a kind of acceptance, because at last, something out there in the cosmos whispered back,